Hey, so it's Leanne Barrable here, Devonshire Shepherdess, and today I want to talk to you about footpaths on farms. So this is a hot topic at the moment because I'm seeing my newsfeed, particularly on Facebook, filled with horrendous scenes of particularly sheep and lambs which have been killed due to dog attacks on farms. And so farms that have footpaths on them, we're in a really tricky position, because if anybody chooses to come and walk the footpaths on our farm, all farmers are actually liable. So if anything was to happen with one of our animals, so for example, if one of the cattle got a bit frisky and injured somebody, or worse still, killed somebody, it would actually come back on our insurance, even though the person walking on the footpath has actually chosen to walk on the footpath. So we, as you know, people that have got a footpath running through our farm, we farm around it. So we have split one of the fields to make sure that people have the option to choose not to walk through the cattle. We tend to not put cattle on the footpath at all if we can help it, and we've basically fenced it off so people can still choose. However, we have had it that people still choose to walk through the cattle, even though there is a choice to not walk through the cattle. And one of the main things I talk about on farm tours when we have them here, with parents and kids, is the dangers of footpaths and how we can actually prevent accidents happening. So sheep and cattle are two different species of animal, if you didn't know already, and basically they react differently to people, new people, people walking dogs. And so basically, if you were in a field with cattle, we are advised now as farmers to not keep cows with young calves on footpaths, because, as many of us will know, if you're a mum, you get really like, don't come near my baby, when you've got a little baby, and the cows can be exactly the same. And so they will show signs of annoyance, or like, don't come near my baby. And so their behavior will be the head will go down of the cow, the ears will go forward. Sometimes they kind of like do their hoof. So when you've watched films and you see a bull put his head down with its hoof, I've never actually seen a bull do that, but I've seen several cows do that, particularly when they have young calves. And it doesn't normally last forever. Once the calves are a bit older, the cows get a bit less like it. But particularly if you have a dog, it causes the cow to think even more so, do not come near my baby. And so if you have a dog, when you're walking through cattle and the cattle come up to you, they're inquisitive about the dog. So sometimes the younger stock, the 12-month-old, 18-month-old, they're genuinely inquisitive. So they will literally come right up to you, and because they want to see who you are, and they'll be particularly interested in your dog. And should that happen, you should let go of the dog. So if you're in a field with cattle and you feel unsafe at any point and you are walking a dog, you should let go of the dog, and then that will hopefully give you enough time to get out of the field safely, or to a spot of safety, and hopefully your dog will have outrun them and got out as well. For sheep, it's completely different. So sheep have a habit of running away from new people. Even from us, sheep will run away. It's their nature to run away. So if you have a dog off the lead and the sheep all go, oh my gosh, they will run. And that becomes a fun game for your dog. And it doesn't matter how trained you think your dog is. If you have not trained your dog in a field with sheep, the chances are it will take after the sheep. And what that does, they often will grab out at the wool of the sheep, so that can cause tears. They will grab hold of the back legs of the sheep because they're trying to stop them, because it's in a dog to play, and it is in a dog to kill, essentially. So if any of the old instincts are still in there, most of our dogs that we have, so my two Labradors, our terrier, and both of our collies, I have trained to be in fields with sheep and not doing anything with them, so not working them. So even the working dogs, I have trained that they are only to work sheep if they are told to go and work sheep. And our Labrador and our terrier, So particularly the young Labrador, the other day I did take her in a field with some of our young sheep, and she did take a little bit of an interest. So I called her back, but I had full control. So, you know, I had her on a long lead, and I had full control, and I can teach her not to chase the sheep. But if your dog has not seen sheep before, they think it's a marvelously fun game, and that is how we are ending up with piles of dead sheep and lambs, because sheep will also die of fright. They will have to be shot, some of them, and you know, some will make it if they have minimal injuries, but often because of the fear that's been invoked, because they've been chased by a dog, they have to be shot. And so then we end up with piles of dead livestock, which is deeply soul destroying for many farmers, because particularly this year it's hard work with lambing, and seeing your stock in such a way is heartbreaking. And so as farmers, we just ask you to just think about your actions. If you want to walk on farmland, you know, just be aware of these things, have the knowledge of how to you know, be with cattle, around what to do around them, what to do around sheep. You know, watch some videos online of how cattle, their behaviors, sheep behaviors, and you will see and learn for yourself how you can make sure that you keep yourself and your dogs safe whilst walking on farmland. We had it today that some people got lost and they ended up in a field that they shouldn't have been, and you know, we have to be aware of that, and because we're liable, which is really annoying, because if the person themselves chooses to come and walk on our land and then gets hurt because they've chosen to, it shouldn't be that we are then, you know, we're then penalised for that. So just a bit of farm footpath safety today, because it was something that happened. If you have any questions, then feel free to comment below.